Marcus, thank you very much indeed. Marcus Castle
Thank
with The Business. It's time now for Media Watch. James Creedon joins us for Media Watch. Good to see you, James. How are you doing?
Good evening, Mark. Very well, thank you.
OK, starting with Libya and a front page on Le Monde causing some controversy.
That's right. Now, all of this is related in some way, shape or form to the kidnap and very swift release afterwards of Ali Zaidan. That is the Prime Minister of Libya. Pictured, I think, here we have him after his rather traumatic experience of being kidnapped and then released. Now, this is a fake front page of Le Monde that was doing the rounds of social media in Libya for about 2 or 3 days in the run-up to that kidnapping. Now, what is all this about? If you go back to last Saturday, Mark, as you're well aware, there was a US Special Forces raid, an Al-Qaeda suspect who was basically lifted off, seized by the Americans. A lot of people speculating, was the Prime Minister aware that the Americans were going to do this? Was there some complicity between the two? Now, he has always said, absolutely not. I wasn't aware of this. This fake front page of Le Monde basically says that he was aware of it and that he handed over Al-Libi, that is the guy who was seized by the US Special Forces, that the Prime Minister actually handed him over. Now, as you can see there, for anyone familiar with Le Monde, it doesn't look like that at all, really. You don't have .fr on the banner. The script was all different, and actually, most tellingly, Ali Zaidan was misspelt as Zidane.
As in the footballer?
As in the footballer. So that's a bit of a giveaway for anyone who actually can read not just French, but the Roman alphabet. But of course, the thing is, this was on Arabic-speaking social media, so a lot of people might have been kind of convinced by somebody linking to Le Monde, which made this theory that Zaidan was involved in that seizure look quite official. So there you go. A lot of people saying that that could have contributed to this. Perhaps the kidnapping in some way, shape or form in terms of the impressions that were
Zaidan's government protested very loudly about the capturing of Anas al-Libi by the US agents, and clearly that was ignored by these rebels who said they did it because of that suspected link, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Next to Azerbaijan and doubts there over the fairness of the presidential election.
That's right. Now, this is a bit weird. Look at this headline in the Washington Post, Mark. Oops! Azerbaijan released election results before voting had even started. Now, what is all this about? If you scroll down the page there, this is from a smartphone app. Now, the Central Election Commission had an official smartphone app, and 24 hours before the election actually even started, the result came out on the smartphone app, and it was in or around, give or take a few percentage points from the actual result. So a lot of people thought, was this the official result that they were releasing ahead of time, i.e. is this proof that the election was rigged? Now, the official answer is no, we were simply testing out the app with the 2008 election results, but actually the names on the app were from the 2013 election, so a lot of people not convinced by that, including the OSCE, one of the election monitoring groups. They find that the election was flawed, you don't say. And moving on to Radio Free Europe, they were pointing out that there were shadowy Western observers on site. Now, you had EU observers, you had the OSCE, they're all very official, but there were also groups such as the International Expert Centre for Electoral Systems and the Independent American Centre of Political Monitoring. Now, take a look at their website, Mark. All looks pretty good until you actually do a little bit of searching on it. For example, the report section. You'd imagine an election monitoring group would have reports. No, they don't. So it seems that this might have been something that Baku, the capital in Azerbaijan, kind of, concocted together or invited them in to make the whole election monitoring process more favourable for them. And indeed, the pro-government APA news agency referenced this group, reporting that the US group of observers found free activity at polling stations. There's also English language errors on that website, even though it's supposedly a North American election monitoring group. So there you go. A few inconsistencies, to say the least.
Sometimes language errors come from people who purport to actually be from America or Britain, don't they? That's to be fair on that one. And of course, the president of Azerbaijan starting his third term.
That's right, 10 years now.
And of course, his father was president before him. So, in Western democracy terms, that looks suspicious.
It does indeed.
Okay.
Unlikely.
Finally,
let's take a listen to the woman of the day, really, Edith Piaf. I think we have a few bars from her. But Mark, it's not just 50 years since she passed away. It's 50 years since Jean Cocteau, the big French filmmaker, poet, etc. He passed away as well. Now, a lot of French media sharing his words that he penned just hours before he passed away himself, because they were great friends. In fact, he wrote a play for her. He said, Have you heard this nightingale sing? It struggles, hesitates, forces, projects, rises, falls. It finds what it's looking for, it gives voice to, and it blows away. So there you go. He was obviously pretty convinced by her and moved by how wonderful she was just before he passed away himself. So pretty big day in French history if you go back to the 10th and the 11th of October 50 years ago.
Jean Cocteau, Edith Piaf, they don't make artists like they used to, do they?
They don't really.
Okay,
Not that
James.
way.
A unique species yourself. Thank you very much for joining us. James Creedon
Thanks,
with
Mark.
Media Watch. Thanks again, James. We're taking a short break. After that, we're back with another World News Update. And of course, later on in the next half hour, we turn our attention to all things from Africa. Stay with us.